What's going on is Greg O'Gallagher with the Kino Body podcast. And today I'm here with my man, my friends. UJ, what's going on, dude? How are you?
Greg, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm quite fantastic. I've been having a fun time shooting the shit with you. But now we want to provide some value. And you're an extremely smart guy. You've wrote an awesome book called The 5 Minute Journal. I mean, you have a very, very strong background in understanding, psychology and behavioral change and happiness. And so, I mean, these are all things that are really important and relevant to fitness and to going through a fitness transformation because the reality is, and I'm speaking to everyone and myself too, no one just really does it in one go. No one's like, I'm going to get this amazing Greek god body, or I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And then they just do it. That's like 1%. Most people, they mess up along the way, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 times, either to the point where like, you know what, this isn't working, I can't do this, and they just flat out give up and let's go, or they just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, or maybe they start to figure things out. So a lot of it is psychology, as you know, because I mean, you can see there's people that get great results on shitty programs. And there's people that can't really get results on awesome programs. So one thing that definitely is powerful is kind of creating that positive momentum and change. So, I mean, do you want to speak to like really what separates, like how to really achieve those goals and how to push through?
Sure. Now, I'll be happy to speak to that. So I think one of the first things to really get clear on is what you're looking to do, but also, and people in fitness talk about this quite a bit, which is, what are your goals? But also what doesn't get covered as often is what's your leverage, right? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to build muscle? Why do you want to lose weight? And really get an emotional core. I'll give you an example. So about a year and a half, I was in a near fatal motorcycle crash. So I was in Bali and nearly died. I had to be operated within 24 hours. I would not have survived. I was a month in a hospital. And in that time, I lost about 20 pounds. And at 5'7", I don't weigh that much in any case. And I saw a lot of my body deteriorate very significantly. And it was a harrowing experience. And then I decided that I was going to put on 15 to 20 pounds of muscle in the next few years. I didn't have a timeline. I decided this is what I was going to do. And the why was very clear because I wanted to prove to my body who was boss. Right? That's a very clear leverage, right? I will prove to my body who's boss. And right now, 143 pounds, which is the heaviest, most muscle mass I've ever had in my life. I'm a naturally skinny guy. And I've just found myself consistently gaining awareness of what to do, what not to do. Something else I'll cover soon is who you surround yourself with. So you and I are fortunate to have a lot of really successful, fit friends in our networks. And so my friends give me advice all the time. And so getting very clear about the why, what's important to you, for everybody listening, for your goals, why is that important to you? And keep digging, why, 3, 4 times till you find some core emotional reason why you're willing to invest time, energy, effort into it. Because unless you hit some deep emotional point, you don't have leverage. And then there's no real difference between a goal and a dream because you are not compelling yourself to take action. When you hit yourself on such a deep emotional level where you find yourself in a hospital bed, only being able to be in 2 positions lying down because the rest of your body is just completely broken. And you make that decision right there. That's a very core decision. That decision just strikes all the way down deep. And everybody's got that in some way or the other. People just have to dig. They just have to dig. Maybe for some people, it was being bullied when they were kids. And it was to show people what they can do with their body. Maybe for some people, it's being able to prove to themselves that they're able to do something and set their mind to it. I don't know what it would be for you, but everybody is different, and everybody's got to find their own unique reason. Because once you do that, then you know what you're after, and that thing will fuel you forward. And the next thing that I think is really important to do is get some fit friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an article in the New York Times that you can Google, and I think the title of the article was, "Can your friends make you fat?" And so there was actually a study, I'm not joking, about every friend that you have that's somewhat overweight increases your chance of being overweight by 6 to 12%. It's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but what if you had ripped friends? What if all your friends were fitter than you were? Right? It raises the psychological threshold. When you walk into a place, let's say a gym, and there's some good gyms here in Toronto, and where really great people train. You walk in and you feel a little intimidated. You have to love that feeling of intimidation, because that's what's going to make you grow. Right? That's what's going to make you feel like, oh my God, I'm nowhere near where these guys are. And that's where the growth happens. That's where you really start to stay comfortable in the discomfort and say, this is a good thing. I feel really out of place right now, but this is good because it's going to help me become a better person, a fitter person, more healthy person, a person who's going to look at myself in the mirror differently.
Dude, yeah, that's a huge point. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I'm intuitive to that. I kind of feel that like, not that you can't hang around like fat people, like that's, but like, those people that you're around all the time, they affect your behaviors. When I was at first year at university, I kind of just was stuck like making friends with a lot of people on my floor, and you kind of get pulled into that whatever lifestyle they're into. And then on the third floor, there's just like these really fit dudes that are hitting the gym every day, like really like nailing their diet, and they all got warped into that, and I was like, shit, why didn't I become friends with those guys?
And I've had a similar story as well. So in university, again, one of the periods that I feel like I didn't grow as much as maybe I could have grown. Same thing. I was surrounding myself with people that weren't growing as fast, so weren't stretching themselves as powerfully as some of my friends now. And you'll find this like a consistent trend. Tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Right? It sounds harsh, but it's just true.
Right. And I kind of get like I kind of get like I can feel the negative or positive effect that people have on me. So if I hang around like people are just like just watching TV all day, not getting shit done, wanting to play video games, want to eat like crap, like not want to go to the gym. I'm like, I don't want to fucking be around this person. This shit's toxic. Because no matter how powerful you are, like how much you're killing in life, hanging around those people, it will affect you with time. Like, would you agree? Like, because I can always see myself. Yeah, it's trippy.
It's really interesting because human beings are social beings. Think about it, right? So we'd be evolved in tribes of about 150 to 200 people, and so we're so sensitive to the emotions of people around us. So the most contagious emotion in our physiology is fear. Right? So let's say you meet somebody and the person's happy, you'll absorb some of it. Let's say you meet somebody and he's anxious or she's anxious, you'll feel it significantly more because evolutionarily there was an advantage to absorb fear from other people because you start to be aware of the dangers in the environment, right? It kept you alive. But now it just keeps you negative. There's no chimpanzee or tiger or cheetah around in the cities, at least, right? And so now that our bodies that were kind of designed for a more wild environment, now we have to be very careful to not surround and not to open ourselves up to that kind of thing. And you know what? People are going to go through ups and downs. That's just normal. It's natural. The question is, what's your baseline? Right? What's your baseline? Is the baseline of the people around you the baseline that you want in your life? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now? And that's a really important question to ask, because that's really going to get you thinking, acting, doing the right things. When you see your friends eating really well, really healthily, and eating lots of protein, and taking his protein shake, right? It's gonna naturally trigger you to do, to have your protein shake, right? We have a mutual friend, Dan Go, and it's an incredibly positive influence in terms of going to the gym. Like, his religion is going to the gym, and it's just such a wonderful, positive approach of looking at life, right? That's just his religion. That's where he finds peace. And surrounding yourself with those kinds of people is really, really priceless, because we're going to naturally absorb their beliefs, their actions, their ideas, their philosophies. And one of the important things to do, even you have one or two friends, is to practice gratitude, right? The practice of gratitude is, gratitude is the opposite of anxiety. You can't feel gratitude and anxiety at the same time. So anytime you feel anxious, right? And it's a human experience. Everybody experiences anxiety. Some people are more open with it than others. And ironically, the people who are more open with it are able to move through it faster, because they acknowledge that feeling and that emotion. We're all human, right? And so when you feel anxiety, try this trick next time, right? So put your hand on where you feel anxiety is. So for me, if I were to feel anxiety, it would be around my gut area, my stomach, right? And I just breathe, I just look around and think of all the things I'm really grateful for. And I would just breathe into it. Even if it's one or two friends that you're really grateful for to have in your life, that are really fit, that think big, that are doing wonderful things in their life, they're self-starters. Just think about how appreciative you are of having them in your life. All of the other wonderful things that are going on in our lives. We live in one of the best kind of places to live in the world, right? North America is just an incredible place where there's so much freedom and the impetus to actually start your own businesses. There's never a better time to start a business than now. It's never been easier. It's never been cheaper. It's never been more accessible. There's so many good things happening. Even the fact that our human bodies are working right now, it's really, a lot of people don't understand how the body works. It's a goddamn miracle, right? And just feeling that. And once you've done it for a few minutes, you'll notice your anxiety is like significantly less, because now you're focusing and you're using your mind, you're using your prefrontal cortex, that part of our brain that is logical, that's planning, the human part of our brain, to control your body's responses. Right? It's very similar to what people work out their muscles, right? Gratitude is like a workout for your mind. And so we created a journal, basically a book called the 5-Minute Journal. And we call it like a toothbrush for your mind. And so it's something you do as soon as you wake up in the morning, right before you go to bed. And the reason we call it a toothbrush is because, let's say, someone misses brushing their teeth in the morning. Let's say, Greg, for some reason, you miss brushing your teeth in the morning, right? You're going to feel a little awkward. You're going to have this weird feeling in your mouth. You're going to be a little bit more careful when you're speaking to somebody. You're going to walk a little way so bad breath doesn't get to them.
Was I supposed to? Are you still supposed to brush your teeth? I thought only kids brush their teeth. This whole time, I haven't been brushing my teeth.
I know. This is why we're doing this on camera, not in person.
Okay, shit. No, it did feel a bit weird.
There we go. There we go. And so let's say you miss it for a day, right? You're gonna have that thing. You're gonna feel like maybe you have bad breath for a bit. Let's say you miss it for a week. Not only are you gonna have bad breath, but now your teeth might be suffering because of it. a month, it just compounds over and over and over. But if you think about it, that's just our teeth. Every system that we have in our lives requires cleaning out. So, in your place, in your apartment, in your house, whatever the situation is, you buy stuff, you cook, guess what? There's waste. You have to remove waste consistently. The same thing with the body. You put stuff in, stuff has got to go out. But the thing is, how many people choose to spend time cleaning their mind? Most people don't have a routine or a ritual. Most people don't have a meditation practice, right? Most people don't journal. And so for the vast majority, how do you make them have a toothbrush for the mind? And so that we decided to create something like that, something you do for 5 minutes that's going to significantly change how you move through the day, because the beginning and the end of the day are two really important points. They're the points in the day where you can really influence the kind of day you're going to have. So Greg, I'm sure you had this experience of lying in bed before you go to bed and just feeling incredible, feeling that was a great day. That was just amazing. I wish every day could be like this. And so what's really cool is you can create your day. A day is a really good unit of life. So how you live your days is how you live your life, basically. And so if you can get your day right, if you can really get that piece solved, you have a very good shot at having your life solved. And so you start the day, the 5-minute journal, with gratitude. It's a really good way to start on a good emotional note. You start to look around you for what's positive, what's good, what's amazing in the world. All the things that you can be grateful for is a great way to start. And then the next question you ask yourself is, what can I do to make today great? Right? So that's the process of how you create the day. And for me, I just transport myself, close my eyes for a bit, and think to that point later in the day where I'm going to be in bed and I'm going to feel the feeling that I want to feel. And I just think of all the things I need to do to get that feeling.
I do. I love it. This process is so genius. It's
Thanks,
so
man.
simple, but it's like just hearing about it, you can hear the power of it. And I like how in the book you explain all the science and research and the kind of the thinking behind each component.
Yeah, and what's interesting, Greg, is that the research has been around for a long time, right? It's been around for a while, but nobody's really done it. Nobody's really applied it. How do you actually do it every day and explain the science behind it, make it as smooth as possible? We put a lot of time and effort and energy designing a beautiful book. So people would love to have it on their coffee table, on their bedside table, what have you. And, we start with a quote that, it's a new quote every day so people can get inspired right before they start. And even the act of writing down something is scientifically proven to help you accomplish it more. So let's say you tell me that we're going to have a group dinner tonight, which I'm really excited for. And so let's say you say that I'm going to do X. Let's say I'm going to do, 5 sets of squats, for example. You say this to me. If you write it down and sign your name, you're statistically more likely to do that, do the action that you told me you would do. It's just proven, right? So if you write the things down that you think are going to make your day great, you're more likely to follow through on that.
Dude, I'm like an absolute testament to this because when I used to just be like, hey, I got to get this done. I got to go to the bank and handle this and that. Well, I just kind of threw around it in my head. I was like, fuck, I keep missing this. I was like, and then once I started writing it down, this was what I started doing a few years ago. I would do it, it would be done. And then when I look back, because I'm always setting goals. When I look back, there's always goals. And I'm like, I want to get here on my fitness level. I want to get my business here. So every time I write that shit down, it comes to fruition. 8 months ago, I was writing down all my business goals, like Keto Body, growing the channel. If people look at the channel, it's exploded, 80,000 plus subscribers. one of my goals is, what I want to be going, I want to be traveling more. I want to be meeting all these amazing people. I want to be meeting, my fans and so on and so forth. And I started to bump it into all these different people, I started hanging out with like Ty Lopez and the RSD guys and different fitness, amazing people all over the world. I would just go walking down the street and people, I hate saying fans, but like my subscribers or people that follow my courses would just be like, yo, Greg, what's up? Dude, I just recognized you. This happens all the time now. It's trippy. And it all started with writing something down.
Absolutely. And I highly encourage all people listening to really do this. Now, what I want to also talk about is in this podcast itself, or a lot of people listening, there's a lot of ideas that are going to be thrown out, right? It might seem a little overwhelming, but what the idea that I want to share with you right now is don't be a hero, right? Don't be a hero. And what I mean by that is the unit of change that you're looking for is a tiny unit of progress every day. A tiny unit of progress every day. And so if it means today, after hearing all of this, the only thing you take away from this is start your day with gratitude, that's okay. Right? That's okay. And then the next time you listen around to it, you'll take like a tiny other piece. And the next time you listen to it, the tiny other piece. The important thing is to get used to that tiny increment of progress every day, because that's how real change is done. Transformations, the human body, the mind, the system isn't built for transformations every weekend. It's not, right? The system is going to get overwhelmed. But what it is built for is tiny changes every day. This is built into who you are as a person. And so as you're listening, you've heard quite a few ideas already. I just encourage you to think of one thing that you can apply that's kind of small, but you think it's going to be really effective for you. And just go do that. Run with it. And you'll see good things happen.
Dude, yeah. That's
don't be a hero.
that's
right?
that's when in my programs, a lot of them I talk about like how to actually make that strength progression and how to set that up. And it's a slow road. I talk about using microplates. So just adding like 1.25 pounds per side.
Yeah.
1.25 pounds, that's 2.5 total. 2.5 doesn't sound like a lot. 2.5 times 52, you do the math.
Yeah.
That's a lot of weight. But obviously, I was going into this movie quote. It was like one of my favorite movies is Take Me Home Tonight. I don't know why. It's a kind of a shit movie. I just love it.
Yeah.
And he pretended to be this Goldman Sachs guy. And then this guy's like, we're trying to figure out, like, what do you do? And he's like, okay, well, let's say you have like, and he just goes through all the currencies and it's like, and then it's like, 1.12% might not sound like a lot, but 1.12%, every day, 365 days. I'm not a math, like, I'll do the math. It's a lot of blowfish. But anyways, so the first step is gratitude in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you list, like, what would make today great? What things do you have to get done so when you go to bed at night, you're like, fuck.
That was amazing.
I'm kicking ass.
Yeah.
And then the third thing
is who do you want to show up as today? Who do you want to be? Right. And it's an affirmation of sorts. And a lot of people get their mind confused about this, but really it's you can decide. That's the thing. As human beings, we have this beautiful gift of this brain, right? We're the smartest species on the earth, pretty much. And we have the ability to decide, this is who I'm going to show up as today. This is the kind of individual that I'm going to strive for. And that's it. Those are 3 questions in the morning. It takes you just a few minutes to fill out. And right before you go to bed, there's another couple of questions, right? And
okay, just to stay on this last one for one more second. So like as an example, if I said, I want to be, hardworking, passionate, and caring today. Is that like?
Yeah. So
that works.
Yeah. I, Greg Gallagher, am hardworking, passionate, and which is the third thing you said?
Caring.
Yeah. Hardworking, passionate, and caring today. It's perfect.
Okay.
And what's really important is you feel good when you write it. That's what's important, because the mind and the emotions are two separate actual parts of our system. So the mind is the thinking part, right? So let's say I ask you, Greg, right now, what are you grateful for? What would you say?
Um, Dude, a lot. I'm grateful for a lot. I'm grateful for pop chips and
Pop
cream
chips.
black
Okay.
chocolate.
So let's
Um,
take pop chips for now. Now, when you feel gratitude for pop chips, where do you feel it in your body?
my mouth.
Your mouth. Perfect. Great. Okay. So what happened there was, when I asked you what you're grateful for, first your mind thought about something, right? That's the thinking mind. It's usually fast, and you came up with it pretty quickly, right? And then when I asked you where do you feel it, it took you a few more seconds. And that's the emotional brain. And so the emotional brain and the thinking brain work hand in hand together. And so when you feel the experience of gratitude, especially for pop chips let's say in your mouth, that's the body's response to it. That's why when you write it down, you want to feel good writing it down, because you work both parts, your mental and emotional parts of the brain. It's really important.
It's always connected to a part of the body.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What if people are really out of touch with their body and they're like, oh, I'm grateful for my kids, but I can't feel it.
It's a very good question. So if that's the case, actually, this is like a workout to get in touch with those parts of the brain. Think about it. If people are out of touch with their emotions, it's going to affect other parts of their life significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And this is like a workout to get in touch with those emotions. It's a really good workout, because you do it as soon as you wake up in the morning, because you've trained yourself now to consistently go into that state. And you do it for often enough, and you'll find you've just learned to access your emotions a lot better. And you'll notice you're not only fitter and more self-aware, because now you can feel your emotions. Now you can learn to take those into consideration. A lot of the greatest investors in the world act on intuitive feel. They've just run so many decisions. Their intuition is very trained to pick up on the right decisions and when to make the right decision. Being in touch with the feelings is one of the best ways you can become a better decision maker. And so there's incredible strength in learning how to navigate that whole field.
So by becoming more, internally aware with your body, where you feel things, bringing things up and being able to connect with it, that's going to make you more aware in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
Business, okay, relationships.
Yeah, business, relationships, fitness, like the whole gamut. Because think about it, more self-awareness. If there's anything I can wish on anybody apart from perfect health, it's self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness is magic, because it can really allow you to do all the things you didn't know you were capable of doing. Everybody from positive psychology scientists right now to ancient philosophers have always talked about self-awareness, right? Even the temple, the Oracle of Delphi, the Greek temple, the two words on the top is know thyself. And when you truly at your core know yourself, you're going to be able to do a lot of things. Even when people are working to get transform their physical bodies, they're going to learn about their own patterns that allow them to succeed, that make them fail. And those are the patterns you're going to have to change to make a change. And so I know we were talking about a lot of stuff here, and if people are interested, the place where you can check out the system is 5minutejournal.com. And to me, it's just a way of, like I said.
Is that the number 5 or FIVE?
FIVE.
FIVE, okay.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, it just allows them to connect with a positive part of the day. Even when reflecting back, when you're asking yourself, what are 3 amazing things that happened today, right? Some days you're going to have great days. Like today is a great day. And
we got the dinner tonight.
I know, it's going to be a great dinner. I'm excited. Yeah. And some days you're going to sit at it, and the first level of response is going to be nothing amazing happened today.
Right.
And some people believe that.
Because it's just like one thing can cloud your entire day.
Exactly. Right? And they're going to say nothing amazing happened tonight. And some people will close the book and just leave it off. Right? But hold on. That's the workout. That's where you get excited. Because that's when you build some mental muscle. Right? Then you go, okay, well, what amazing, you keep asking the question, what are 3 amazing things that happened today? And suddenly you'll remember things. You'll move through your day and you're like, you know what, that cortado that I had earlier today was fucking amazing.
It's like training your brain to be positive.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll notice as you're walking by, there was this time where you were driving back and all of the lights were green. It was incredible. Right? Like everybody's experienced that. How amazing is that?
I love it.
All the lights just green, green. And those things can really, when you look back on them, you re-experience those positive emotions. You train your brain to remember these things. And then when you really need it, when you're really in a crunch, right? Your brain comes to the rescue because you've trained yourself to look for the positive all of the time. And so over time, you'll notice you'll have consistently better days because our brain's perception is reality. And so how we perceive the world tends to be like that. Mm-hmm. And so when we're constantly crunching our brains and using our brains to scan for all of the amazing things, guess what? In a few weeks, in a few months, life becomes more amazing.
Yeah, I heard a cool quote. It's like your internal reality is a reflection of the external reality.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Yeah. So if you
both, yeah, it's like a constant feedback loop, right? So internal reality reflects your external reality, reflects your internal reality, just this constant thing going back and forth. And the people that really make things happen create the external reality through their internal reality. And it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Dang. Oh, dude, this is so. I can guarantee you, people that are watching this right now, it's like 5minutejournal.com. It's simple, but like I've never seen someone really put this into such an actionable, easy to use format. I often say like the best things are the simple things.
Simplest things.
So at night, you're writing down, 3 awesome things that happened today.
Yeah.
And then
the last question is, how could I have made today better?
Okay.
And that question is just a simple question, right? Like, and like I said, some days you're gonna have amazing days, and then you really think about it, and you say, you know what, today really went really, really well. Legitimately, there's nothing I would have done any different, and that's fine, right? I just put a smiley on those days. It's good. You did today well. No problem. And some days you'll be like, you know what? I wish I had ended that meeting a little earlier. Or I wish I'd woken up a little earlier today. Or I wish I'd gotten in, let's say 20 minutes more of reading because I really like that book and I could have done it. Whatever it is for you, right? Everybody's got different things. Just write it down. Right? This is not a time for you to be hard on yourself. And just a time to evaluate and just be entirely objective about how you can make today better. It's just that extra layer of awareness, right? When people, a lot of your audience is fitness related. So when people, are able to go into the gym and they have this one day where they're just able to lift way beyond what they were able to lift before. A lot of the times you can chalk it down to a tiny change, right? Or a slight layer of awareness. That extra veneer of awareness that you have all of a sudden allows you to do all of this cool shit. And that's what it trains you to do. Gets you that extra layer of awareness saying, how could I have optimized my day? How could I have just tweaked a tiny little something and make tomorrow even better? And that's it. Right? Those are the 5 questions, and it's a simple, beautiful format. And the way I like to think about it, so we took I took a lot of the research, right? You look at this, and there's so much research we packed into it that, and all of the research has been corroborated, right? They are actually writing things down, starting on a positive note, writing gratitude, reaffirming identity, looking at things backwards and recognizing them, like retraining the brain. Every time you access a memory, Greg, you change it. Right? Proven. Every time you access a memory, the emotional state you're in changes the memory. Next time you access it. Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah. Right? And this is all this is science. We know this for a fact. And so when you do that,
fully trust your memories.
Yeah. A lot of the time you can't, especially the more you've told a story, right? And the more you've accessed the memory, the less reliable it is. Which is why eyewitness testimonials tend to be pretty inaccurate. Right? And legally it's known. And so there's so much stuff we packed into it. I really thought if someone really starts doing it, and if they don't see results, I would just like dumbfounded. Yeah. Right? There's just so much stuff we packed into this. And true to form, the people have been just really raving about it, and it's been really great. We've had a lot of really great people, talk about us and get behind us. There's Tim Ferriss, who's gotten behind us. Ben Greenfield is a supporter. Dave Asprey loves their stuff, and it's been a really great avenue for people to even gain more awareness about their physical body, their routines, their patterns. And so for me, it's all about making psychology accessible, right? Taking what we know and just turning it into this beautiful, simple, easy thing that everybody can do that can just radically transform their life. Like I said, the small stuff every day really changes you in the long term, right? Like what the act of writing, even logging your workouts, it's going to take you a minute, maybe two, right? But those numbers are not going to lie.
I log all my workouts right in my notes. Yeah. Every workout.
Yeah. Numbers don't lie. And stuff like logging, journaling, this stuff is it's just so powerful that once you recognize how powerful it is and you don't do it, you're just stupid. Right? You're just a dumbass. If you realize how powerful it is and you don't do it, then you have no excuse. You really don't. And so that's the kind of things that I like to focus on. To find something that's complex that a lot of people don't understand, simplify it, make it easy, and give it away to people to do.
Dude, I love it, man. We covered some incredible stuff. The importance of finding that compelling why. Why do you want to have this transformation? What's going to really get you to push through the hard times? Surrounding yourself with positive friends or people that have, what you're trying to achieve, and people that have that, overweight people or increase your chance of gaining weight by 6 to 9%. It's crazy. Don't be a hero, small change. If you kind of beat yourself up because you're not perfect, it's not going to be a great motivator. It's just going to, you're just going to be compulsively beating yourself up and feeling like crap, Revel in those small bits of progress. That's what really creates, the dream, the goals that you have. 5 questions a day, 3 in the morning, 2 at night. Gratitude, what do you want to get done? The affirmations, what are 3 things that went awesome? What could you have done better? Simple stuff. I guarantee if you start implementing these different things, like you said earlier, I would be dumbfounded. This is really powerful. If you guys want to learn more, you have it all in a book, the 5-Minute Journal. It's at 5minutejournal.com.
5minutejournal.com. It's very simple. Just Google it. You'll find it in multiple places. Yeah.
Very sweet. Do you have any communities where people can keep tabs on you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, Ujaramdas. I also have a website, ujaramdas.com. And feel free to come by, say hi.
All right, sweet, dude. Thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been an amazing episode, jam-packed with a ton of really sweet values. So,
My pleasure,
yeah.
man. Happy to do it, and I'll see you tonight.
I'll see you tonight at 7 for we're doing we have like a mastermind dinner. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.